Sorry, was there supposed to be a sound for this? Not on my end. No. No. Yeah, for sure. All right, let me pick a screen. How's that? All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm Hayden. I'm part of the Gridiron Survivor team here. And I did a research task looking at Storybook, which is something that we've implemented in our development system. Just the overview straight from their website. Storybook is a front-end workshop for building UI components and pages in isolation. And teams use it for UI development, testing, and documentation. And it's an open source and free system and tool that you can use, which makes it pretty handy for us. The key benefits can be broken down into three groupings, which are development, testing, which covers both component and visual testing, and finally documentation. With development, there's a rise in component-driven tools like React and Vue. We specifically use React, and scalability has become a crucial factor in building these successful applications. Storybook supports this approach by rendering components in complete isolation from the main app, which allows developers to focus on each UI element independently. And this makes it significantly easier to develop, test, and debug without spinning up an entire application and going through user flows such as logging in, which can really streamline that debugging process. And Storybook is especially valuable when building reusable component libraries, as each component can be iterated on, documented, and reviewed in a dedicated environment. And additionally, it enables testers to easily mock up hard to reach edge cases like loading indicators, error messages, or empty states that otherwise require app states to reproduce. Storybook also offers tools that go beyond component development. With a focus on accessibility here at Gridiron Survivor, Storybook offers strong built-in accessibility testing, checking compliance with WCAG and ARIA standards, ensuring that our components are usable by all users. And the interaction testing allows developers to simulate user behavior like clicks, typing, and keyboard navigation directly in the stories, which is what they're called on Storybook. And you can also perform spot testing to visually and functionally inspect components in isolation, reducing the risk of regression through the chromatic extension. And lastly, you can combine this with code coverage reports from test runners such as Jest, which is something we use to test our components. Storybook also makes it easier to navigate through components of an app with a streamlined UI that allows developers and designers to quickly locate specific elements or simply browse through what's available. One of its standout features, in my opinion, is the automatic generation of UI documentation as you build. And as you iterate and reiterate, it'll keep updating that documentation, which means your component library stays up to date without any extra effort. And this living documentation helps teams to stay aligned but also promotes consistent design patterns throughout the application. I'll just go quickly over the difference between Storybook and then just using design files as a way to look at the different states. Because it sounds a bit complicated, but what Storybook does, it bridges this gap between code and design and offers a real-time visual representation of the components as they're built. And unlike static mockups like on Figma, it reflects actual code and what it's actually going to look like when it gets shipped. So I think capturing these interactive states of components with hover effects, etc., allows teams to explore these interactions without writing additional code or opening any design tools. But how does it benefit us? Well, at the very core, we're a collaborative environment. We've got engineers, designers, and project managers. And like I've already mentioned, Storybook allows everyone to test components without having coding knowledge or any sort of skill gaps. And as the program is gaining success, we found that people are getting hired and taken away from Gridiron, which means that there's always an ongoing rotation of people coming in and out of the program. And utilizing Storybook, it allows for a more efficient integration and onboarding process for these members. So they aren't just left sifting through blocks of code, looking for specific components, or basically just learning what the app is. And then lastly, we have a heavy emphasis on accessibility with one of our members, Danielle. She's a huge pioneer for this. And we're having those WCAG standards and testing through Jess allows us to further that focus. And now I'm just going to do a quick live demo. So I'm just going to run it here. And you'll see after we run that through on VS Code, this is the UI that we're faced with. We don't have too many right now. We're slowly building out our components. Oh, sorry. That's fine. Okay, once. Yeah, I think it's good to highlight that, considering like recently we lost 3 people, so we're going to start onboarding again, and even just going through it and learning it now. And as you can see, this is what you're faced with. Ours isn't too in depth right now. We're building it out, but I've got a few examples here. So we've got our button documentation, and this is all generated by Storybook. And then you can go into sort of individual components of different instances that we have of the button. And then you have these controls down here where you can sort of control different things like color, the label itself, whether or not it's a primary or secondary button. And this reduces a lot of time. Otherwise, like how I would usually do it before this would be to be in DevTools and changing code to sort of get what I wanted to see. But this makes it easier for, first of all, me as an engineer, but designers who might not have that experience to open up DevTools or QA testers. And then you've also got different use states. So this is when a login screen, and as you can see, when you press login, it changes, and then ideally something different would be here, but not right now. But as you can see, that process to go from a user that's not logged in to logged in cuts out. I don't know, that could be like over a minute of 30 seconds of time just to, if you're running the app, then logging in and doing authentication that way. But yeah, that is basically everything on my end with the live example. And then yeah, so hang on one second. Yeah, thank you. I had a couple of resources, some YouTubers that I watch to learn some of this, and then obviously their own documentation is really in depth and really good. Yeah, thank you. Uh, I think definitely like it originally started out just learning Storybook to start with because I was given a ticket to implement a story for one of our components. But then as I was diving into it, I learned more and more about it. Um, and I also realized that there's a lot of it that we're not really implementing or taking advantage of, specifically the accessibility, um, which I'm going to try and sort of dive into that and maybe try and implement that on my story and then see if it's worthwhile to start doing it across the board. Because reading that documentation, there is a lot of cases that they show you and they go through and they tell you whether or not you're following all the specific standards that I know we do emphasize, like I said, pretty heavily here about accessibility. And yeah, okay. I'll let
Hi, everyone. I'm Hadi with Gridiron Survivor, and this is Vercel error logging and analytics. So Vercel error trace logging, what is it and why does it matter? So logging traces and errors in Vercel means we're able to capture detailed information about how our application is running, tracking the execution flow and any issues that may occur. So this is essential to log both traces and errors because it'll enable us to detect issues quickly and find like the root cause of those issues, and then that will in turn maintain reliability of our application. So the types of logs that we'll see in Vercel. So you'll see build logs, and this is available on all plans, the free plan included. When deploying a website to Vercel, the platform will generate build logs for us that show the deployment progress, and this is on every deployment. And the build logs contain information about the version of the build tools, the warnings or errors that may be encountered during the build process, details about the files and dependencies that were installed, compiled, or built during the deployment. You'll also see runtime logs, and these are also on all plans. This includes logs generated by Vercel function invocation in both preview and production deployments. With runtime logs, we can see that logs are shown in real time and they're grouped by request. Each action of writing to standard output, such as using console logs will result in a separate log entry. We can also view our activity logs, which is also on the free plan as well. And this provides a list of all events for a team, and it's organized since the creation of those events. They'll include users that are involved with the event, the type of event that's performed, the type of account that performed the event, and the time that those events were performed. So this is the big one for us. Log drains. This is actually only available with the Pro or Enterprise plan. So we have the Pro plan. And this allows you to export your log data, which makes it easier to debug and analyze a larger set of data. We can configure log drains through the Vercel dashboard or with the custom log drain, or we can configure it through one of Vercel's log drain integrations. They have like 5 to 10 different providers we can choose from. And this enables us to have persistent storage and large volume of logs. It also provides us the ability to create alerts based on the patterns that we see in those logs. We can generate metrics and graphs from the log data. And this is actually when paired with distributed tracing, logs will help us link specific errors to their requests across different traces in our app. So we'll be able to find the root cause of the errors much quicker this way. So how can we use log drains to log our traces and errors in Vercel? So we can set it up, I mentioned earlier, there's 2 ways, either by setting up a custom log drain or by using third-party integrations. And in my opinion, the ideal route, since our app is a little bit more simple, would be to use a built-in third-party integration like Logflare, BetterStack, Axiom. There's a few more as well. This is, like I said, mostly due to quick setup and ease of use. And the custom log drains would likely be just overkill and too much setup for us. These third-party integrations will have built-in dashboards, structured logs, search and alerting out of the box. They're simple and smooth. They have a simple and smooth UI, and they're easy to use. And there's no overhead, like I mentioned. No need to host and maintain endpoints or deal with authentication. And they are, for our application, I think it would be relatively cheap. It'd be 50 cents per 1 gigabyte of logs processed. Okay, now moving on to Vercel Web Analytics. So Vercel Web Analytics, what is it and why does it matter? Vercel Web Analytics provides comprehensive insights into our website's visitors. So this allows us to track information about the most visited pages, the refers for a specific page, and different demographics about our visitors like location, the OS, and browser information. And this is important for us because we can turn our raw traffic data into insights for us instantly and privately to the users of our website. And Web Analytics offers a quick and easy way to read metrics for us. So enabling it is super simple. You just install @Vercel/analytics and then add it to the app layout like this. And then using analytics, we can view different data about our traffic on our website, such as the pages data, pages that the URLs that the viewers visited, the routes that were hit, the host name, refers, like if someone clicks a link from another website, the country of the user, the browser that they're using, the device, and the operating system. And we can sort that data very easily from the analytics tab and filter it. And then we can also export all that data to a CSV file as well. So Web Analytics also offers us customization options. Using the track function, we can track user interactions, such as button clicks, form submissions, or purchases, for example. Basically just allows you to track custom functions that you want to monitor. And this includes client-side events, like when a user performs like a button click, or server-side events, like when a user purchases an item. So you can see examples of that here for the client-side event and examples for that here of the server-side event that we tracked. And that's it for my presentation. Shout out to Shashi and the rest of the team. Talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Will Cooley, and I am here to talk about my research ticket on the Amazon affiliate program and how it can benefit our application. The way the program works is essentially this: we can earn a commission when a user makes a purchase for an Amazon product by clicking a special link on our website. And that purchase needs to qualify under Amazon's policies, though I understand that as long as the user clicks the special link and completes the purchase in a single session, that purchase should qualify. And if the session ends, I believe the purchase can still qualify as long as it was placed in their shopping cart and they complete the order within 89 days. Disqualifying purchases would be anything that's canceled, returned, or refunded. And if our affiliate agreement ends or terminates, we would, of course, no longer earn commissions on anything beyond that. And any purchase that occurs through a violation of Amazon's ad policy. So basically, don't do anything that is deceptive to the user. For the application process, after signing up, this is important because it's timely. You would need to have three qualified sales in the first 180 days. Other requirements they have is that your website must have recent original public content. You must disclose to the users that you're earning a commission on the purchases made on the website, and Amazon requests that you do not put any static product prices just because they change all the time. And I also understand it's beneficial to have at least 10 original content pieces, and those would be things like blogs or product reviews or articles. And in terms of the special make a purchase that would benefit us. There's a browser extension called SiteStripe, and that's what you use to get those product URLs that we would use in the application. Next are the commission rates. So here you can see a chart of the various products on Amazon and the percentage that we would earn on any purchase. And so you can see here that for sure the items that we would get the most on would be luxury beauty items. Next to that would be Amazon Haul. I believe that's their discount bargain platform. And most other things tend to be around the five. Now, these are pretty obvious, but if the more visitors we get, the more traffic the website gets, the better. It's a good idea to promote products that are expensive, and that for us might be a bit of a challenge. Just in my own experience with Secret Santa, generally there's a pretty low caps on the dollar amounts for those. So there's just something to keep in mind. And as you saw in that chart before, you want to target products that have a high commission rate. And beyond that, it's a good idea to find niche products that have low competition and decent demand. And free tools that would be beneficial to use to find those types of products would be Amazon bestsellers website, as well as Google Trends is a useful tool that you can type in a keyword and it'll show you the trends over time, as well as you can see a map of where those keywords pop up most often. And in terms of pros and cons, the benefit to being an Amazon affiliate would be, obviously Amazon has a ton of products. They're very well known. The commission rates are not bad, between 4 and 10%, and the platform is easy to use. The cons would be the commission structure can change at any point, and also their program policies are rather strict. But to me, from what I understand, after researching the Amazon affiliate program, I do think that it would benefit us quite a bit. It's just a good way that we can earn our income for the organization. So that's my presentation. Thanks for watching.
No questions. Actually, I would have had a question about maybe the affiliate program, how we would integrate I know it says to suggest more higher end sort of pricing of $50. Because I know we have a lower end as well to cover all bases and like uh, uh, I guess money. Yeah, just how much. Yeah, different. So it's but it is interesting to see that the rules and not having to give out say direct pricing and stuff like that. Well, I didn't realize that was such a strict rule from them. But it was interesting though. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it all makes sense now. Yeah, I think every sprint, every 2 weeks, we're trying to do one now. Yeah. Thank you for. Bye.